Isn't that sweet? He's confusing me with one of his sons again. Wow, do you think he's flirting with me? What is this?
That single line says it all about where Jimmy Kimmel and Donald Trump currently stand. Trump can't seem to stop bringing him up, while Kimmel keeps turning it into comedy. Meanwhile, in the background, a $250 million fraud trial unfolds, with the family's sons taking the stand. This is that story. Part 1. The insult that set everything off. At a rally in Indiana, Pennsylvania, Trump chose not to...
Has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos.
Focus on policy, the economy, or voter concerns. Instead, he critiqued Jimmy Kimmel's performance as Oscars host. 6 months after the...
Okay, now, see if you can guess which former president just posted that on Tuesday. Anyone? No? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
Oscars at a political rally filled with thousands of supporters, Trump was still talking about it. Kimmel saw the clip that same night, walked out to his desk, and calmly faced the camera. There was no anger, no rant, just the quiet confidence of someone who understands.
I'm not supposed to rely on a big five accounting firm, like one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. I can pay them millions of dollars. I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them. By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients for listening to their doctors.
The joke doesn't need help. Part 2. The son takes the stand. While Trump was revisiting...
He said that his dad is the father of hotel gyms. He said maybe someone put a gym in a building somewhere, but no one did it at the scale of my father. He's saying that his father, the father of the hotel gym, is a guy who's never stepped inside one.
The Oscars on stage, his son, Don Jr. He was testifying in a New York courtroom during a $250 million fraud case involving the family business. His explanation was straightforward. The blame, he said, belonged to the accountants. Kimmel heard this and responded in his usual style, simply repeating it to the audience without adding commentary. The audience laughed and Kimmel moved on. No overreaction, no extended commentary, just another example added to the list. Part 3. The Rumor Cycle. Don Jr. watched the segment and responded online with visible frustration, framing it as another attack from Hollywood elites. A few hours later, a rumor began circulating that Don Jr. had called the police on Jimmy Kimmel. He hadn't. There was no...
Gloria montages. He even worked my wife in there. Should I be worried that Trump has mentioned my wife more times at his rallies this year than his own? I also want to point out the Oscars were more than 6 months ago. He's still stewing over this joke. He keeps bringing it up, which I don't mind at all. In fact, I love it. I just wish he would quote it correctly. I didn't say, ha, 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 he thinks he bothers me.
Report, no case number, no incident. Just a dramatic thumbnail, a fake siren, and the word breaking attached to a story that wasn't real. Kimmel addressed it briefly the following night, then returned his focus to the trial. Part 4. The Pattern. Here's what Kimmel seems to understand. Trump and his...
I know your cognitive abilities are declining faster than the price of Truth Social stock, so if it helps, I'm happy to send you one of the many products commemorating what I said to you that night at the Academy Awards, so you never forget it again, like this T-shirt or this coffee mug or this coffee mug or this coffee mug. There are a lot of coffee mugs.
Circle rely on portraying themselves as victims. That narrative becomes the product. Every insult, every legal issue, every late-night joke is reframed as persecution and presented to supporters as evidence of a biased system. Kimmel's approach remains consistent. He outlines the facts, reads the statements, and allows the audience to connect the dots on their own. He thinks he's getting to me. No anger, no debates, no tagging Trump for attention. Just a steady delivery of facts, one after another, in sequence. Part 5. Trump responds again. He couldn't ignore it. Trump brought up the Oscars once more, misquoted the moment again, mentioned Kimmel's wife, and labeled him one of the dumbest people alive. Kimmel flipped that approach back on him, turning the situation into content, even merchandise, and framing it as an unexpected advantage. The audience reacted loudly because Kimmel had mirrored Trump's own strategy, using it against him. Part 6. Why it works. Here's what often gets missed in this ongoing back and forth. Every time Don Jr. posts an angry response, it reinforces that the joke had an impact. Every time Trump revisits the Oscars at a rally, it provides Kimmel with fresh material. Every time a false story circulates online, audiences become more attentive to the person calmly presenting verifiable facts. The next generation of the family raises the volume because volume is what remains. But in a culture driven by noise, Kimmel stays measured. He keeps the facts organized and lets the situation unfold on its own. People don't share these clips out of anger. They share them because it feels like someone is finally explaining the spectacle they've been watching all along. Subscribe if you believe clarity cuts deeper than noise. Turn on notifications if you think facts matter more than rallies.